What happens when a global star looks back at his life and speaks from the heart? What hidden memories resurface when fame pauses and gratitude takes the stage? And why did one Instagram video from Yaman move millions across different countries? Today, we are diving into a deeply emotional and powerful moment shared by Yaman himself. A moment that is not about scandals, not about rumors, not about red carpets, but about life, memory, and gratitude. Welcome to Magazine News and Gossip, the place where we go beyond headlines and into the real stories behind the stars. This video was shared by Yaman on his official Instagram profile some time ago, yet its emotional impact still feels fresh and powerful today. It is not just another post. It is a reflection, a confession, a quiet pause in a fast-moving career where Yaman looks back and says thank you. In this video, Yaman speaks openly about gratitude, especially toward Maria de Filippi and the iconic Italian program Che Posta per Te. For him, this show was never just a television appearance. It was an experience filled with emotion, human connection, and unforgettable moments. Through a series of photos and personal stories, Jan allows us to walk through his life, step by step, memory by memory. Yaman himself described this post with meaningful words. He wrote that this time, Che Posta per Te was for him. He mentioned that after sharing many things in Spanish, he decided to do a short interview in Italian, commenting on photos from his past. These words alone already reveal something important. They show how deeply connected Jan feels to Italy and to the people who welcomed him with open arms. It is clear throughout the video that Yaman carries immense gratitude toward the Italian audience, toward the people who supported him, believed in him, and opened doors that changed his life forever. This post is not loud, but it is powerful. It is his way of expressing a feeling that lives deep inside him. As the video unfolds, Jan begins commenting on the photos one by one, telling his story through images. He starts with a childhood photo and says that he does not even remember how old he was, but jokes that even as a child he already looked big. He laughs and adds humor, saying that people joke there must have been a gym inside his mother's belly. Behind the joke, however, there is sincerity. Jan talks about being a very restless child, but he also shares something his mother always said about him. She said that when someone explained something to him calmly, he would immediately understand and never repeat the mistake. This detail gives us a glimpse into his character from a very young age. Energetic, yes, but also sensitive, receptive, and thoughtful. Then comes a photo from his first day of school. Jan describes himself as extremely unhappy in that picture. He remembers being sad, dissatisfied, with a sour expression on his face. He even recalls that his father smiled when he saw how sad he looked. It is a small moment, but it feels real. It reminds us that even stars once faced the same emotions we all did as children. Another photo takes us to Russia. Jan explains that he was there for the wedding of a close friend he used to play basketball with. This friend fell in love with a Russian woman, moved to Russia, and invited Jan and their friends to the wedding. What makes this story even more special is what happened next. Jan reveals that his very first acting experience actually happened in Russia. While visiting his friend, Jan and another friend were seen by people working on a set. They were offered a small role. At that time, they had almost no money left, and their trip was nearly over. That small acting job allowed them to extend their journey across Russia. A coincidence, a chance, a moment that quietly shaped the future. Years later, Yaman moved to Italy because of Sandokan. This is something fans already know, but hearing it again in this emotional context gives it new weight. He explains that once he arrived, training had to start immediately. He had to prepare physically, learn to ride horses, and push his limits both mentally and physically. Then comes a tender moment. Jan shows a photo with a horse and talks about the bond they shared. He describes it as a very sweet and gentle image. He explains that they were very close, that the horse was important to him, and that the connection was real. It is a quiet reminder that strength and sensitivity can exist together. Another photo brings us to a dinner scene with his parents and two close friends. Jan explains that these friends are lawyers and were once his partners because before acting, Jan studied law. He even worked as a lawyer for a short time. These friends are still part of his life today. Jan shares that when he later decided to become an actor, he encouraged these friends to leave the company they were working for. They took a risk, opened their own law firm, and for a while, Jan even spent time there with them. He remembers those days with joy, laughter, and friendship. It is another layer of his life that many people rarely think about. The video then moves to Sandokan once again. Jan shows an image from the final episode, where Sandokan leads a battle for freedom and becomes a leader, a savior of his people. At this point, Jan stops himself. He says he does not want to boast and prefers not to continue telling that part of the story. He lets the image speak for itself. Finally, Yaman speaks directly about Maria de Filippi and her program with deep gratitude. He says that he loves her show and that every invitation is a great honor and pleasure for him. Every time he comes, he sees real people and real stories. Stories filled with pain, struggle, love, and hope. He explains that he feels the pain of these people, that he puts himself in their place, and that he recognizes parts of himself in their life stories. Each appearance becomes a beautiful experience, a meaningful meeting with the audience and the guests. He repeatedly expresses how grateful he is to Maria de Filippi for inviting him every time. Yaman has appeared on Maria de Filippi's program several times, and each time the episodes were filled with emotion. Heavy emotions, real stories, lives marked by struggle and resilience. And through all of this, Jan shows that he is not distant from these stories. He carries his own stories we may never fully know. This Instagram post was not about promotion. It was about gratitude, about acknowledging the journey, the people, and the moments that shaped him. That is why it resonated so strongly with fans around the world. At Magazine News and Gossip, we believe moments like these matter. They remind us that behind fame, behind success, there is a human being who remembers, feels, and says thank you. Thank you for staying with us and following our updates about Yaman. We truly appreciate your support. Have a wonderful evening, and we will see you very soon with more news, stories, and updates right here on Magazine News and Gossip. Until the next video.